I'm Aaron Baker from PhoneDog.com, and it's part 2 of a dogfight battle between the gorgeous HTC One and the gorgeous LG Nexus 4, also known as the Google Nexus 4. Is it HTC or LG? Which one's more beautiful? Which one packs the best of everything? We'll find out in part 2 of a dogfight between the HTC One and the Nexus 4, which starts right now. It's part 2 of a dogfight battle between two Android devices that, at least in terms of the beauty department, are definitely up there on the list, if not the top. In my opinion, both of these are the hottest Android devices when you look at hardware, just external hardware alone. The HTC One and the Google Nexus 4. They're both beautifully crafted Android handsets. Love the glass, love the metal, and it gives something an iPhone 5-like look and feel to Android. So if you've seen that iPhone 5, you're like, man, I hate iOS, or man, I like Windows Phone, or man, I like Android, but you know what? The iPhone 5 is just so darn beautiful. Well, you've got some Android alternatives to choose from right here. HTC One coming soon to AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile in the US, and then the Nexus 4 available on T-Mobile and select retail outlets and online at T-Mobile.com, at least last I checked. It goes in and out, and of course, it's available through Google Play as well. This is $299 for an 8GB version, $349 for the 16GB version. Then over here, you got a 32 and 64GB variant, and I should point out that this actually is the international unlocked version. So no LTE here just yet, but it will get it when you come over, or when it comes over, rather. Maybe even when you come over to the States with AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile. Now, before I get too far in, I want to thank our partners at Best Buy Mobile. They give us devices like the one I actually just shipped off a bunch of devices to PhoneDog East, Note 2s, Droid DNAs, Galaxy S3s. It's so nice of them. We have a great partnership with them. And the reason why is because we give those devices to you for free on the One Paw Bandit game. So when you go into Best Buy Mobile, you'll walk out working. They'll help you set up your email, your contacts. When the One comes to Best Buy Mobile, they'll make sure your boom sound speakers are set up. They'll make sure HTC Zoes, you know how to use them, and more at Best Buy Mobile. It's their walkout working program. Let's take a look at HTC One, Nexus 4, and let's jump right into some of the speed tests, because that's usually a pretty good place to start when we're going into part 2. Now, both of these devices are incredibly fast. Both have 2GB of RAM. It just depends on the overall software experience you want. Now, if you want to get further into detail with both of these devices, take a look at the reviews, the snapshot reviews of each one of these devices, because I do go in depth at the various software on both of these devices, because it's important to take a look at Sense 5, see what's changed here, take a look at stock Android 4.2, see what's changed there. There's a lot I like about both of these devices. Unfortunately, Quadrant Standard has stopped. Let's start it back up. There we go. Come on, HTC One / Quadrant Standards. Tuesday morning. Let's get rocking. Internal error. This one seems to be giving me a little bit of an issue. We may have to restart it. But you can see here, Quadrant Standard running right now. Let's talk a little bit about battery life as well. You've got a 2,300 milliamp hour non-removable battery over here, 2,100 milliamp hour non-removable battery over on the Nexus 4. So they're both non-removable. That said, a ton of different alternatives. I wouldn't worry about that too much, because you can get an external battery pack and charge it. There are a lot of different options here. That said, love the standby time over here. Overall, in the battery department, the HTC One does win. With moderate use, I'm getting about, I'd say, in moderate use obviously depends on the person, and even for me, moderate use depends on the day, between whether I'm traveling or not, or if it's a Tuesday or a Friday, and I'm trying to cut back on usage or using my office phone, whatever the case may be. That said, I get about 9 to 11 hours would be my estimate on the HTC One. Over here, I get about 8 to 10. So I do see a little bit less of a battery performance over here. That said, I did not mean to do that. Let's go ahead and run that again, because I did not mean to do that. So you got an amazing 12,576 over here, 4,852 over on the Nexus 4, and take it with a grain of salt. Like I've always said in the videos, it's not indicative of day-to-day performance. Both of these phones are incredibly fast. That said, I have not found a thing yet that slows down the HTC One. I mean, you can see how incredibly fast this thing is, moving through menus, pinching, doing widgets, closing it down, turning it off and back on, incredibly fast all around. And the Nexus 4 is fast. I have seen the occasional lag, and unfortunately I have a hard time replicating it on video, but you'll see it from time to time when you're browsing the web or when you're in messages. You'll see it kind of stutter, and what I see is, see how it kind of highlights underneath the icon? Every now and again for me, it highlights and stays highlighted for like 2 seconds, and the app doesn't actually open up. And then when it does, it opens up and works just fine. But that's the one, and I wish I could do it to kind of manipulate it and make it work so I could show you the occasional slowdown. But otherwise, both are great devices. I mean, everything has an occasional slowdown, with the exception apparently of the HTC One. This thing is zippy fast, and you can quote me on that, zippy fast. So I want to take a look here as well quickly at the personalization options on this device. You can see, actually I didn't mean to go into display. Let's go up here to personalize. Like any other HTC device, the ability to personalize the wallpaper, the lock screen style. I do find this particularly useful. I have it on productivity But then you have the wallpaper lock screen, the picture lock screen, music, and then a no lock screen as well. So a lot of different choices to choose from. Then I can customize the home screen like you've seen, customize text messages and more. So still plenty of opportunities to customize and make that device your own. Now over there, this is a hacker's dream. So putting it quite simply, if you hack, you root, you mod, you're going to like this device a lot. So I happen to like this widget quite a bit. Downloaded this, and then of course in Android 4.2.2 you've got the quick shortcuts from the lock screen. So without actually opening the device or unlocking it, you can scroll over, for example, to messaging, and I can create a new message and then go right in. So I actually just unlocked it to go into the message, but without unlocking it, I can go in and read my messages. I can take a look at Google+, I can take a look at my calendar, for example, see the weather, and go to my camera and more. So speaking of camera, let's take a look on both of these devices. 8 megapixel camera with 1080p HD recording, 4 ultra pixel camera over here. And I'm going to go through and show you what these can do. First of all, this is utilizing something called HTC Zoe. It's HTC's marketing. It's a part marketing phrase, but it's also a very cool feature that the HTC One has. So for example, I have it on Zoe right now, and you're going to notice when I click this, you'll see the red. It takes a 3-second video. Now that video can double up as stills as well. You can extract still images from it if you want to, but then it doubles up as kind of a 3-second video. So you'll see me take a Zoe of this, for example, of the Nexus 4, and there it is stored in the gallery. Now when I turn that off, I've got a normal camera. I can come through here and snap pictures of the Nexus 4. And basically what I'm doing is creating a gallery for today. So whatever today is, I think it's the 26th if I recall. Yeah, 26th of March. What I'll do is go out of here and go back into gallery, and you can see from here, bam, my photos, camera shots, and then it brings together all my Facebook photos and more. So some people don't care for the cluster of information that you get, but you can see my photos, of course, running the Zoe's dyno that we have at our house. And then I'll go to Dallas, Texas, for example, and you can see all the stuff I just took. Now it's going to be a combination of a Zoe and then a combination of some still images. But this is the HTC Zoe, the finished product, and the phone does this for me. I don't have to do any editing or do anything. And it's kind of a brief overview. And from here, if you really like this, it's a 30-second snippet. You can share it, but then you can change around things as well. You can select content if, you got that crazy picture of whoever, your wife, your significant other, your kids doing something weird, and you don't want that to be part of the Zoe that you're going to share with friends. You can remove that picture, and then when you go to the Zoe and refresh it, it won't do it. But you can see a bunch of different options here, 6 options to make this your own and make it really different. So something I think that's really cool, and I can see this like on a day where you're traveling for vacation or you're at a wedding, you take 200 or 300 pictures. It really makes it a cool product, and I like the fact that it organizes by date like that. Although the one thing I will say is, just out of the box, it is kind of frustrating. If you're on a vacation for 7 days, for example, I'd like to be able to kind of organize those activities together pretty easily, or at least have the option to maybe tag them or something. And I know there are options to do that, but just saying out of the box, I'd like to be able to say, hey, this is my vacation folder. Put all pictures from X to X in that folder. But that's just a small personal thing. Really impressed with the camera performance over here. It is fantastic all around. And you've got your settings here. And you'll notice the front-facing camera. Take a look here and see what I'm talking about. So you can see me, you can see the camera shooting right now, and then you've got all this extra space around behind me. You can see my walls, my office walls, the picture behind me, so just a wide-angle lens makes it easy to take pictures and videos of your friends that may be with you. So we'll go back to the main camera. Take a look at my new haircut, too, and let me know what you think in the YouTube comments. And then, of course, you got your still images as well. Now, over here, panorama is a super cool thing. Now, I find, at a hard time, or at least for me, I have a hard time justifying panorama within itself, but I think it's a pretty cool feature. And actually, somebody brought up the comment on YouTube. It's a great feature for somebody that may be looking at a house, or somebody that's trying to analyze, perhaps somebody doing an appraisal of a house, something like that. So I'll line it to start up and just do a quick one to show you what it looks like. And you can see one of my sets over here that I often use in videos, just right there. So you can see Droid DNA, you can see my laptop and more, and just as I go down like this, you can see I'm filling out the picture, or the photosphere, if you will. We'll do this one as well. And you can see it's pretty easy to use all around. So pretty impressed with the performance there. Again, you can share it on Google+, you can share it through email. Hard for me to justify kind of the use of that, but I still think it's a really cool feature. And of course you have panorama as well. And then we'll go right back in here so you can take a look. Photosphere, panorama, videos, and more. Overall, the camera, it's decent. And again, keeping in mind the price point of this device, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. That said, the camera is definitely better on the HTC One. It is one of my go-to cameras now for everyday use. I'm incredibly impressed with it, and continue to be impressed with things like Zoe and Zoe Share and more. But still a decent camera, and I like the fact that you can easily scroll between your film strip view, much like Windows Phone 8, and your live camera. It's quick and easy. And then, you know what, let's say I like that. I want to share it to Instagram. Quick and easy to access, and take care of all that stuff. That said, they're both incredible devices. One of them has to be declared a Dogfight winner. It's a tough call because, as always, it depends on what you want. The price point here is incredible. The availability here is incredible. This is the most gorgeous Android device I've ever had my hands on. It feels great in the hand. It's got that curved back like the Droid DNA. Love this one as well. Really looks great. And keeping in mind, $300. I mean, you can't beat that at all. $300 for a high-quality Android phone. Really impressed all around with the performance and with the overall look and feel. That said, one has to be a winner. The winner of the Dogfight is the HTC One. I mean, it's a gorgeous package of incredible specs. HTC Zoe blink feed are incredible. The hardware is great. The software is great. The improvements HTC's made fantastic. And the availability on AT&T, Sprint, and T-Mobile, really a bonus all around for consumers. So, unless you're on Verizon, you may not have to switch your carrier to get this device. Whereas, for example, if you're on Sprint, you can't do the Nexus 4. Really like the fact that this is going to be available in on 3 different carriers in the US. HTC One, an incredible device. Really enjoying my 30-day challenge with it as well. Be sure to check that out on YouTube. Keep it locked on PhoneDog.com for continuing coverage of both of these devices. Let me know what you think of this Dogfight on Twitter at PhoneDog_Aaron, Facebook, Facebook.com/HiAaronBaker, Google+, G+.to/PhoneDog. Let me know which one you think should have won. You love the one, you love the Nexus 4. Let me know on social media. Thanks so much for watching. Stay tuned for more dogfights between these two devices and more on PhoneDog.com. It's going to be a hot season for smartphones, guys, and I cannot wait to do some head-to-head comparisons between the industry's best smartphones. 2013 is going to be fun. You're going to want to stick around on the YouTube channel and on PhoneDog.com. As always, I'll see you next time.